Hello, welcome back to More Talk. I'm your host Cooper Moore, and I'm joined here today by Tom Wilcox, the founder, the creator of all of it, Severan Skincare. How are you today, brother?
Good, mate. Good. Thank you so much.
I want to show this. I want to show this to the camera. Look at that.
That's
Look
the
at
box.
It's another box, bro.
So that's a gift for you to have me on the podcast.
I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna let you know something. Now, you have to take this as a good thing, right? Because as a boy, right, I don't wash my skincare religiously, right? I don't always do it. So I still have the one that I've got all the time. But it's because, right, I realized that, like, I used to, like, when I first started doing it, right, the moisturizer, for example, I would do maybe like 3 pumps and I thought that would work. Bro, no, I literally have to do like half a pump and then it works. Like, And no, I know it's like the moisturizer bottle is like only like a small bottle, but you only use the smallest bit and it does everything.
Yeah, 100%.
So like, that's gonna last.
That's gonna last a while. No, well, it's like that's some of our feedback we've had on the products is like the size is really good. Like you've got perfect size. Someone could say it's got you've got the cleanser. You're gonna have it for like 3 months at least. The moisturizer, you only need that one pump and it spreads. And that's we've actually had a lot of feedback on that. That like. Kyle Felt, for instance, I met he's an NRL. I don't know if you're a big NRL fan.
I know bits and pieces of stuff. Yeah.
Well, I met him the other day, and he was like, the moisturizer. Like, I'm surprised how long it's last me. Yeah, and it's so good. So yeah, we actually hear that a fair bit, which is great to hear. Yeah,
because as soon as I found out we're doing a podcast, I was like, all right, I'm excited. I'm talking the product, and I realized, bro, both my bottles are like still half. I've been using it, but it's just like there's just one pump, and it just fixes it. And
that's good. That's great. That's what you want. Yeah.
Now, okay, well, we kind of just skipped how we did the intro. So Tom is here from Severan Skincare. He just wants to have a chat about his life, and I want to talk to you about what you want to do with your life, basically.
Yeah. So, well, basically, Severan was. It was a business passion born out of necessity for myself. I started it. I had used to have really quite bad acne, like quite horrific acne, and it was such a big confidence issue. Yeah. And then I went to buy my own male skincare, and I just could not find anything of value. Couldn't find anything high quality, and that created that seed of an idea to start my own business, and that from there started the 2-year process to actually get my own business and get the products and everything on ground. So yeah,
let's start from square one. So you already started from square one. You already said that you had acne, you tried to find a skincare.
Yeah.
And I assume you went to Kohl's, tried all these ones that didn't work. You might have said like, well, these ones that next level, like the super high end, maybe like hundreds of dollars ones. Like, what's the point? Like I'm not going to spend like all the effort with 5-step skincare and all this kind of stuff. So let's go. When was the motivation to actually make Severan Skincare? Like you were like, I need to do this.
So the motivation for me, I think really was when I stopped doing things as much. So I've just come back, for instance, like on a hunting trip. I went away with my mate. We went out camping and stuff like that. Yeah. 2.5 years ago, there's no way I would have done that. There's no way I would have taken the time to go camping and stuff because I would have been so worried about the acne breakout following it.
Wow.
So it was getting to a point where, I was stopping going to the gym as much because I was worried about sweat pimples.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I want to have a product that I can fall back on that will allow me to go ahead and do the things that I want to do. Yeah. So that kind of laid the foundations of motivation for myself. When I was looking for products and trying all different products, I noticed there's like a lot of stigma attached to men looking after their skin. Like some of my mates said to me, like, why are you using that? Like, why you got skincare? Like, rah. And so that was something I noticed, and I'm quite a confident, outgoing person. And then when I was at the shops, I felt, people like, I felt that like a little bit of insecurity of trying to get male skincare. And then there was nothing good. And then some of my friends said to me, don't get male skincare, get female skincare. And I went, well, no, we should have products for ourselves that are going to be good and high quality. Yeah. So then I started working with lab formulators and dermatologists and just really the best that I could find. All in Australia, I worked with them. And we basically came up with the formulation and ideas for a male skincare line and male skincare products. And then when I got the products formulated for me to try, and I went from this like highly, major hyperpigmentation issues across my skin to just that like clear skin and good quality skin. I was like, wow, I'm onto something. Started giving it to my friends to use. They were like, this is really good. Like, what products are this? And I was like, hasn't got a name yet. And then from there, I was like, okay, we've got products that are really good quality. We're seeing good changes in my own skin, and others across all different types. So I don't just want to get to like one type of skin. I want it to be like a general thing, but for men. Yeah. And I was like, okay, we've got something here. Let's start a business. And then the foundations of the name Severan Skincare. The name was derived from that insecurity of, this isn't for men. Skincare is not for men. And then during the Roman dynasty, there was a person named Elagabalus, and I wasn't going to call my business Elagabalus. So I said he was the emperor during the Severan dynasty. And then his whole thing was, if my men look good, feel good, they'll fight good. And he wanted to remove the stigma attached to men looking after themselves, amongst a lot of other rebellious acts that he did. But that was his big thing, rebelling against the norms. So I took the name, took that mantra in that regard, and really decided, okay, we're going to name our business Severan. It ties in with the notion in our business mission is to remove all the stigma attached to men. And then also back then, skincare had to be purposeful, and that was a big issue I found when I was looking for those men's products. There was all these ingredients, stuff that were just like contextualizers, fillers, and all these things that shouldn't be in there, and that was a big issue for men's skincare. And I was like, every ingredient we have has to be purposeful moving forward. So that's the crux of the business as a whole. Yeah.
Firstly, I want to say, wow, there's a lot of thought and a lot of drive to firstly make the perfect product. I feel like a lot of people skip that stage. I feel like a lot of people in your position would have just bought a formula or bought a skincare from somewhere else, barely tested it, or they've used it a couple times, like, yep, this is my product, and then they're just going to pump out an advertising trying to make a quick buck. Whereas you've really had to think, like, what's the point of this? Why am I doing this? And that's very inspiring, I think, to a lot of people.
I appreciate that. And it's interesting you say that, because I remember when I first came out that I started my business, I had a friend who's pretty business minded. He said, oh, so did you just see like a niche in the market and then go and create it? I said, no, I had an issue. There was no solution there that I found it was good. I tried all different and people have said to me, why would I use your skincare over someone else's? And at the end of the day, you can go use theirs. That's all well and good. But if they had high quality skincare, I never would have started my business. Yeah. It's the fact that it's not there. Their ingredients aren't good. The fact that I then went ahead and started Severan Skincare. Yeah. The business, it was like, it wasn't business idea, then products. It was products. This can be a business. And it wasn't never, like, obviously, it is a business, so money is obviously important and all the rest of it. But the idea is we want to help as many men as possible to actually go ahead and live. It's not okay to, I know what it was like not wanting to go to the gym, and I love to train and stuff, or go hunting or anything like that, and be held back because you're worried about acne, or you're worried about like a breakout or something like that. So we want to support men to be able to do more, go further, take that extra step, because we make such good products. Yeah. And that's, we want to help men do those things, and we want to do that through high quality products. Yeah.
What separates Severan Skincare to the products that you were trying in the store? And we don't have to share your secret ingredients.
No, that's right.
But like, what is the difference between that, and what do we want to enforce on this?
Yeah, so we'll start, to break down that question, let's look at the division between male skincare and female skincare.
Yes, please.
So female skincare, a lot of people say skincare, but that's not the case. So male skincare, it's a lot of the products in the business, and, when I realized this when I was working with dermatologists and whatnot, they said, it's rougher, it's tougher, but it's for men. That's why it's harsher. So like male skincare products, they'll have like a harsh chemical scent, or they'll have a harsh exfoliant, because it's going to be rougher and tougher for men. And that really just fuels that ego and that bravado. But what men actually need is because by nature we're a lot rougher and tougher on our skin. The classic Aussie battler is, you know, he's working in the sun, he's doing all these things, he's being, you know, we're not typically the most gentle in our bodies. So we actually need products that are going to be soothing and gentle and take care of and replenish the skin, as opposed to something that's going to strip the skin. So female products, it's more about, you know, it's smaller pores, all those different things to suit female. And then men have larger pores, but the big difference is, where I see, is the male products has to support male nature, and the difference of the classic man is going to be rougher on their skin, tougher on their skin, and therefore it needs that added support. So that's the division between the two, the male and the female products. And then when you look at what's the difference between Severan and another skincare product, the biggest thing is Severan skincare ingredients are all purposeful.
Talk to me about that.
So what that, and this is where, you know, you said before about the passion of wanting to create a perfect product. I feel like I spent probably a good year trying to come up with what is a good product.
Yeah.
So we just dialed in, like, okay, I spent like, I think 3 months just looking at all different skincare ingredients, trying to figure out, okay, what is a good ingredient? And then looking at products that are already on the market and going, why is this not working for people? Like, why, this is a brand, it's big, why is it not helping people? Oh, it's because they've got this, it's a contextualizer, or it's a filler, so just to make the ingredient thicker. Whereas I said every ingredient we have to have has to have a purpose. So all the way down to, you know, the scent of the product, it is derived from vanilla extract and bergamot berry. So vanilla extract is like it's a cleansing and replenishing agent, so it's going to support the skin. And then bergamot berry is the main scent in Dior Sauvage, main ingredient. And I love Dior Sauvage cologne. Yeah. So I said, but that also is a natural like cleanser and then a soothing agent. So tying them two together gives it the scent. So when you're actually using the product, it smells good, but you know that that smell's actually doing something for you. So the difference between the product, the main difference is every ingredient has a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the big thing. Yeah.
Now, how long did this journey take to? Because I know you said you've been, 3 months looking here and dermatologists and all this kind of stuff, but really, like, how many times did you have to test it? How many times? How much research? All this? How much time?
So the roadmap of the business basically came from the seed of idea to the landing of the products was about 2.5 years.
Wow.
So it started off with just that whole trialing other products and then researching. And I didn't just give a product to go and go, this didn't help after a day and chuck it. Like, I was doing the full routines, doing the full 5 steps, whatever it was with a brand that said, use this. Like, I wasn't mucking around. So I was doing all these ingredients, trialing all these different products and researching ingredients. That took a good year. So just going through it bit by bit by bit, because I didn't want to start a business if there was already something out there that was good. Yeah. I wanted to start a business to close the gap and to fill a solution, create a solution. Yeah. So that was a good year. And then after that year, I came up with basically a bulletproof formula of what I wanted to do. That then started the process of working with, I worked with a dermatologist first of all, and then from there, sorry, I haven't eaten much today. What's good? We worked with, a dermatologist to come up with the idea. And then from there, we worked with a lab formula to create the product. From there, I got samples made, used those samples for myself and for others. And then from there, we said, okay, and that we also, created the business name and whatnot. And then from there, that extra second and a half, that half the year, that was the landing of the products, getting it sorted, and then launching, which started this year. Yeah.
When was a point in this journey that you wanted to not do this anymore? Like, give up, or was it just constant? No setbacks.
I'll be honest. Actually, there hasn't really been obviously there's been down days and stuff. And every day I feel like in business there's just a mountain of jobs, like that Mount Everest at your doorstep every day. Yeah. But there was never a day where I was like, oh, actually, yeah, okay. Christmas, right before Christmas last year, we had the quotes were all changed everything. It was ended up being like an extra like couple thousand.
Wow.
It was all these extra costs that weren't supposed to be there because I started the business so long ago. They would change their costs by the time I was ready to fulfill the orders, get the packaging, get all the source of it all. They changed, a lot of it changed. So then that was a huge, I remember that day actually just being at home and being like, wow, this is so much has changed and there was so much more work to do. That was the only day where, probably I didn't had the thought of, do I want to keep doing this? But definitely had the thought of, holy crap, this is big. This is a lot more than what I was expecting. So that was the hardest point, just the constant changing of the world and then having to adapt your business all with it. Yeah.
Where do you see this in 5 years?
Honestly, we'd really love to see it go big. Like I feel like we're just loading the clip right now and we're going to unload eventually. We need to just keep pushing. What I'd like to see is just a big movement of it. People that when people think of skincare, they think of Severan. Yeah. And I want that to become like synonymous. Synonymous? I
have no idea what that word is anyway.
I want it to be like when you think of skincare, you think of Severan. It ties together. It's everybody's first thought, you know. Yeah. And that's what I like to be, and that create a culture in Australia. So and that's really big for me as well, the Australian side. So all our products, it's all Australian made. We, you know, all the way down to like, you know, open up your box here, mate, like the straw and whatnot, all of it, the packaging, the products, the labels, you know, everything's all made in Australia, and that was a big thing. And we actually go a step further, and this is where, you know, when you spoke about passion of the business, we actually go that step further in Severan. We source all our native ingredients and stuff, like that's made in Australia. Native to Australia. We actually work with a company that sourced it from a sustainable Indigenous practice. Wow. So they take out a group of boys and they hunt and gather all the ingredients that's in their area of the group, and they'll do it all through native practices. They'll then sell it back, and that keeps their practice going. So all these boys are getting that connection to country. They're getting all those things, and that's really special that we're kind of giving back in that way. That's instead of just going, oh, we're going to get these ingredients from another country, we're actually getting it and supporting people to go that step further and stuff as well. Yeah.
This is some Australian of the Year kind of talk. I'm sorry. This is like, you've really, what I find amazing about this brand, just from listening, you talking about the passion you bring to it, is that it's not just a product. It's every aspect of it. And like you said, we took like a year and a half and we made the bulletproof formula. Yeah. And then now we're focusing on how can we make it all Australian? How can we make it all natural? How can we make it all these things? How can we make it clean? How can we make it ferment? You've thought about everything. So the only thing that you're missing is Coles, Woolies, just branch
that exposure. Out. That's what, and that's probably going back to your question of what do you want in that 5 years? We want to be exposed. We want people to see it. We want people to know about it. Right now, I feel like we're starting to get a bit of traction so I'm from Queensland. We're starting to get traction in North Queensland in particular, but you know, it's such a niche area. We need to expand. We need to get that exposure. So I'd like to see it in 5 years. You see it on shelves all through Australia. That's the 5 year goal. Yeah, there you go.
Would you ever sell this brand for a lot of money?
Oh, I would. I have been asked this before. Yeah. I don't think I would sell it. I would always want to have an aspect of it, but the idea of bringing other people on. So, Mark, we were talking before about, you know, I'm not the best with photos and stuff like that. Anyone that follows me on Instagram would know I'm pretty shocking with it, but very shocking with it. But like having somebody on, like bringing in like a marketing director, bringing in someone like that would be something. And then that's what I would do for sure, because they would then have the tools to take this to the whole new level. Yeah,
because I was saying this could definitely be like a Shark Tank deal. Like I feel it's just. Not because I'm not saying don't sell the business, because this is, you know, this is where you start, this is where you finish, but like, you know, that is an aspect of business.
You're trying to buy in, mate. Is that what you're trying to buy in?
I've got $20 in my account. Let's see how much I got. No, it's the fact of like good businesses need the support.
Yeah.
And if this goes crazy, a lot of people would want to support you. That's why I wanted to know what your aspects of this. Like, would you move on? Like, for example, if Nivea men, you know, they had some skincare that in like that, if they're all like, you know, I know, I've tried that, didn't work. But like, if they were trying to say, you know, we want to keep this, and they want to take that, and they want to expose that, how would you make that? How would that make you feel?
Look, it's actually interesting. You can't see it on Instagram, you can't see it on Facebook, but on TikTok, you know, he had the profile views.
Yeah.
So you can see other brands going onto the Severan account and looking at it, and you can see. So like, I'm sure they would have seen on, you know, Insta, but I've seen like the Nivea page. I've seen, I probably shouldn't say brand names, but I've seen brand names looking through and then like viewing TikToks and stuff like that. So it's actually interesting you asked that. Look, it feels good knowing that they're watching the young gun kind of coming through with a new business. Obviously, they're the giants in the space. Yeah. Look, you know, if that cross that bridge when it comes to it, but I don't think I'd be going anywhere. Like, I wouldn't be stepping away from the business. That's for sure. You know,
I was reading. I want to make sure I get the right page right. So BD is a BD Mag.
Yeah. They did a little 5 minute interview with me. Yeah,
I read that just before you got here. First, shout out to them. Looks cool, and it looked like they have a lot of cool projects. They were talking about, you know, you want to take this full time. Yeah. Give me a deadline.
Oh, so right now I'm actually a teacher. So I started this business all through uni, and I'm actually a teacher, and then I do this on the side, even though it's probably a bit of a full-time job running it. But, you know, I do it on the side technically. Give me a deadline. Yeah, look, I don't know. These are good questions that I haven't been asked before. But look, the way we're tracking, that's all numbers. The way we're tracking, we'd have to see if this podcast blows up, mate. You never know. But hopefully, like a good year. You know, because we've done what, January next year will be, you know, a full year, so 3 months or whatever, 4 months. So that would be, so we've already beaten, I think before I started the business, like I think it's like 90% of businesses stop in the first year. So like we're already beating a lot of statistics. We're already doing, because every month I set a new margin that I want to hit, a new sales target, all the rest of it. And we keep beating it. So I'd just like to keep hitting those goals, keep moving forward. But the big goal for me is, and like, you have to take my word for this, it's when I go out and stuff, having people stop me and say, hey mate, I just want to let you know I've been using Severan. It makes such a big difference. Like when I first launched, it was like maybe like 2 months in or something like that. A bloke came up to me at a bar, I didn't know him, and he said, I just want to let you know I've been using Severan. It's made a huge difference. And I was like, oh wow mate, that's amazing. He said, no, you don't understand. And I went, well, what do you mean? He said, I never got photos of my partner. I never got photos. I hated getting photos of my family. I hated everything because of my acne. He's like, now I get photos. I go out more. I'm social more. I'm happy to have photos of my partner when we're out. He's like, it's made a massive difference. And that was a huge motivation thing. And I remember saying, I'm like, mate, can we do some like before and afters? And the issue is with before and afters is they're great because it's evidence. Nobody wants to highlight their insecurity of acne, which I fully understand, but it's such a sucker thing.
I think eventually you will get to a stage where people will do that because with so many people supporting them. And I think what's so special about this business is that it's not even just, it's a skincare brand. It's almost like a community of boys helping boys, like supporting men, helping them with all this, and this can grow and grow. Yeah. It's such a big thing. Like, because your challenge is one of the most challenging things in the world, is change the way that men see themselves. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of us have been raised, especially in Australia, like, be a man, do this, do that, rub some dirt on it, you know, she'll be right. 100%. Whereas you're trying to change the stigma, and I think we're getting to a stage in this world that we are trying to. Yeah. But, you know, stuff happens, you know, and people are not ready to change.
And like, you know, you've obviously, like, the way I talk about it's coming across, but that's the business mission. Remove the stigma attached to men looking after themselves. And that's a big challenge to tackle. So the way I play, or the way we play our part, being part of the Severan community, we challenge that. We challenge that norm of men taking care of themselves through products, through, this is how we do it. We do it through high quality skincare.
Yeah.
That men go, this makes me feel good. This makes me feel confident. I'm going to use this, and to all the fellas out there and all the rest of it, there's not too many girls that will say, oh, I like him. He's cute. Look at all his, pimples and blackhead. He's so masculine.
I didn't even think about that, Yeah.
Well, that's true. I remember there was someone that, like a guy came up to me and he started just ripping on me about Severan. He's like, you know what, like, that's this, that's that. But mate, there's no one out there that's saying, geez, you look cute. You're so masculine with all your pimples. Like, no one's, get some, and I fully understand it's such a hard thing for men, and it's such a, some people, it's such a big problem, but, using high quality skincare is not by any means a emasculine thing. You should feel confident using it. It's actually, like we were out hunting and one of my friends was using the products in the creek, and he's like, it's so crazy. Like a year ago, I would never have thought to wash my face after hunting. Now I use Severan every single day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely, we just need to get that exposure going. Yeah.
We're going to take a small step back from Severan.
Yeah.
And I just want to focus on you, because my podcast, we talk to small businesses, we talk to athletes, talk to all this, but reality is we talk to the individual itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what did you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, that's easy. It's a real simple. I was quite blessed since I think a really young age teacher.
Really?
Yeah. So that story is really easy. It's a quick one as well. It sounds so, it sounds a bit cringe, but I grew up in a small town of Bowen, and I had these two rugby league coaches that were teachers, and they were just such big, like role models for so many of us in rugby league. And I noticed that what they did for the boys, they weren't just our rugby league coaches, they weren't just our teachers, they were kind of also a bit of a life coach. And I grew up in a really good family home. I got great parents, great brother and sister, great family. But I noticed the boys around me didn't have that. A lot of boys don't have that these days. And, girls as well, obviously, but like playing rugby, a lot of the blokes never had that support. So where'd they get it from? They got it from these two teachers. Shout out to Mr. Cocker and Mr. Butwell. These two teachers gave them so much support and helped them. And I was like, I want to help people as well growing up. So I think, anyone can, you're at uni, anyone can read off a slide, anyone can be a lecturer, anyone can be a teacher, but a good teacher kind of takes that step further and actually helps people kind of be a better person following school. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to do. So, yeah.
A lot of people would use teacher position as more of a secondary thing. Now, I mean, you are technically using that because you want Severan to blow up. You want it to be full-time, but I'm talking more about, back when you're thinking what my dream job is, what I want to do, they go, oh, I want to be an astronaut, but I'm going to be a teacher first. Now, was how impactful, but like those teachers must have been impactful for you to be, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life before Severan.
Yeah, 100%. Well, for me, teaching's always been the goal. So I actually, a bit about me is I've always had a real big issue with learning. Education for me was a heavy importance in my family, but it's something that was an extreme challenge for me. So I actually had 3 learning disabilities. I have dyslexia, dysgraphia, and an auditory processing disorder. Wow. So growing up, that was always such a challenge, and learning was such a challenge for me. So I wanted to become that teacher that can say to those people that have those learning challenges, like, with a bit of effort and whatnot, you'll be fine. So so for me, education was so hard. Those teachers were so good. I seen the difference that they were making, and I wanted to do the same. So that's the crux of that. Yeah.
What was your goal in life before Severan? What was your goal?
So before Severan, what was my goal before Severan? That's a good question. Look, like, it was definitely to become a teacher. So before launching Severan, I was still at uni. I was still going through it all. So I was still to become a teacher. And then following that, I guess, I've always been very business-minded. I love business, the world of business. So I'd like to, do other business ventures as well. But yeah, I guess it was just to become a teacher because before Severan, it's going back 3 years ago. So I was 20. So it would have been just to become a teacher. But then obviously I want to, like everyone else, I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that.
All that.
So a good Euro trip, like every other man and his dog this year has been to Europe. So yeah, I'd like to go to Europe and stuff like that and all the rest of it. Yeah.
You were talking about how you wanted to do more business ventures, and we were talking about it before the podcast.
Yeah,
and you were saying, "Oh, I'll do a podcast and those kind of things." Let's go through it. What are the things that you want to either add to Severan, or maybe it's just a complete whole different realm?
Yeah, well, it would be a separate realm. Like I'd like, Severan obviously is, I guess my baby in business and stuff, but I'd like to do how you mentioned Shark Tank before, something like that, angel investing, business investing. So if let's say you were, you ran your own business, you ran a barbershop, but you wanted to open another on the other side of town, but you didn't have that cash to make it happen, I would give you that money, be a silent investor, and then we both are in partnership with that business. Yeah. That's what I'd like to do down the line. And then obviously, your classic real estate and shares and whatnot as well is a big thing, yeah.
And with Severan, you've stuck with the products that are the best ones you can, like the bulletproof formula. You got the cleanser and the moisturizer. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I was half expecting when I looked back on your website that it might have been a coming soon of another product or this. But I get what you mean. It's just you're trying to get it clean, trying to get correct so you don't have to mess up. You don't want to rush it. Yeah. But is there any kind of works or anything you're thinking about for the future?
Definitely.
Lay it on me.
So what we'd like to do is we'd like to expand it. We right now have the 2-step program, and the idea of the business is we want to introduce skincare to men. So as we're exposing skincare to men and high quality products, we want to then expand on that. So, down the line, we want to have that, okay, you've got your cleanser and your moisturizer, you're good at using that, you're using that religiously. Now, we want you to start using an SPF product, so a sun-safe product, So people, especially for tradies and whatnot, they can wear like sunscreen, but not just your sunscreen, but like a facial sunscreen that's going to be good for their skin throughout the day. It's going to protect their skin, stuff like that. We'd like to expand on. We'd also like to include a salicylic acid exfoliator.
Whoa, that's a couple too many letters for my knowledge. What's that one?
That's just a chemical exfoliant, and I know like chemicals sounds a bit scary, but it's a gentle chemical. It's it's a really high quality ingredient. We'd like to include that. So for people that have that more problematic skin, it's really going to help with that. So like the products are great. They're going to support that people with problematic skin, people across all ranges, but having that's going to niche down is going to help those people that are, I'm using these products are really good, but I've got this particular issue. Okay, now I can use this product. Yeah. So yeah, definitely be in regards to the face. It'll be hopefully down the line, the 4 products, the cleanse, moisturizer, the protect for the day, the sun safe, and then the chemical exfoliant. Yeah. But then obviously I'd love to have like the body wash, body lotion.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That would be, So whether we make it happen that the body wash and body lotion comes out next, so you've got your face kit, your body kit, and then we expand the line as we go. That's in the works. Yeah, definitely. So it's exciting.
When you talk about, your life and all this, you don't necessarily have a chemical or dermatologist or kind of a medical background from what you've said.
Yeah.
And so was it kind of a nerve-wracking experience or an interesting experience to expose yourself to like a professional, like a dermatologist, and like, hey, I want to make a skincare, I want to do all these things, I need all this. What was that experience like?
Yeah, well, it actually started off just a little trip to uni, and I just went into the researchers there and just started asking questions, and they probably thought I was nuts just walking in. But basically, I spent for like that first 3 months just learning all about skincare, learning about and that's how I came across Severan, the name Severan, because I went all the way back to where did it start, what was it starting, all the rest of it, and then we kind of went basically from the very start of skincare all the way through, and I learned all about the history of it, and then I learned about how this ingredient is great, but then when it's binded with this, it doesn't work as well because it just doesn't bind together. Yeah. Or when this ingredient ties in with this, it creates that really high enzymatic effect. So I just learnt so much, and then when I went to talk to lab formulators and dermatologists, I wasn't so much asking them questions. I was still asking questions and learning from them, but it was more like we were working together to create a product for men. And I was really clear on that. This isn't a product for the population. This is a product for men only. I don't, sorry ladies, I don't want to support female skincare. I want it to be for men. In saying that, it's a bit of a sidetrack. We've seen so many women using the product and reviews from females and stuff because they just find it so soothing. So, like, you know, they use the moisturizer as a big sale to women because it's so soothing on their skin. You know, when they take their makeup off and all the rest of it, they use that to replenish their skin through the night. So that was something I never expected Severan to
That is
happen.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend has a bloody 12-step skincare or all this kind of stuff that I won't touch it because it costs more than a house. Like, it's all that ridiculous stuff. But I find it interesting that aspect of that, like, females would actually use the product.
Yeah.
And I think another market is that females would buy it for their boyfriend or for their partner because they're like, oh, I don't want to do it. And then they're like, let's try it. And then they'd actually love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that would be, but I actually use the moisturizer like an aftershave. Like every time I shave, like, cause I found like the one I got from like my shaving kit, it just like flares me up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so harsh. Yeah.
So that's been loving that one.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Now, this was what I was going to ask you. All right. You're a small business owner. You're a individual. You are like all these kind of things. What is your advice to the people who not necessarily want to start a skincare brand because you not want competition, but someone wants to start a business like this?
Geez, you asked some great questions. I wasn't expecting these. Yeah. Okay. My advice to just people in general, I don't know if I'm qualified to be given advice.
I think you are very qualified with this.
My life's a bit of a shambles. My advice would be to anybody. Yeah, my advice to be to anybody, it'd be everybody's got something. Everyone's got an issue. Everyone's got something to work on, which might sound cynical, but it's also quite liberating at the same time. You know, you might have an issue. You might be 23 or 24, 18, 19 or whatever age, and you might be feeling, I don't know where I'm going in life. I don't know who I am as a person or whatever. And you might look at the bloke next to you and go, oh, he's got it all together. He's got it all sorted out. Why do I not have it? But he might be really struggling with something else. He might be really struggling. His issue might be he might not feel body confident. Or the bloke next to you, he might be the most confident person in the world and all the rest of it, but he's really struggling with this. So don't cut yourself a little bit of slack because everybody's got something. And typically when we get over that challenge, a new challenge arises. So my advice to people would be everybody's got something they're working on and you just need to keep on working. And eventually you'll either figure it out or you'll come up with some way to get around it, you know? So I don't know, is that good advice?
That was very good advice.
Yeah, because that's something that's actually been a little bit, you know, I've had a few things going on lately and then I remember my friend was saying to me, oh, you know, like you're really good with this and stuff. And I said, yeah, but mate, you're sharp with these things. And he went, oh, I didn't think about that. And then knowing that, you know, other people have got other things, you can kind of go, well, you know, I've actually got this and this sorted. I'm doing all right. And that might give you that little bit of hope to keep moving forward. Yeah.
What makes you happy in life?
Oh, that's, yeah.
Come on, you had to expect this question. Come on, this is my one question I ask everyone.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't expect this answer. I really love to dance.
That is dancing. Incredible.
Yeah, so
later, mate. Talk to me. Where did it start?
So, it started easily with watching my parents dance to Brown Eyed Girl. Mum and dad would always be dancing, and so my mum and dad, they can like twirl and dance, and back in the day, throw mum up in the air. Not so much anymore, but you know. So growing up, learnt that we did. We did the debutante ball. I don't know if you do that down here, but for anyone that's debutante ball, it's the coming of age of the female. You go and you learn like the waltz and all the rest of it. I just absolutely loved it. We did it. I think it was like 3 months of learning how to dance, and then from there I just loved it. Yeah. And my parents taught me how to dance a bit more. I've got no sense of rhythm. I can't actually dance, but I can like twirl and do a couple things. So what makes me happy is going out, having a few brewskis and then having a dance. That would be that's something that I really do love doing. Yeah.
What is your goal for your life? When is the maybe it's with Severan, maybe it's with anything in the world. But when it's like, when I get here, I've hit it. I can pass away right then.
Pass away, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, pass away. Go. You can kick the
bucket. Jesus Christ. Look, you know, obviously, like in terms of money in business, be that financial freedom. You're no longer worried about, and I think Joe Rogan says this, once you can go to dinner or go out and get a coffee and not look at the price tag, that's when you made it. Everything else beyond that is just like fun and games. But that's like the goal of business, to get to a point of financial freedom. But then the goal of life is just to get to a state of peace. Like I'm pretty harsh on myself. I always want to keep going. I always want to improve and stuff like that. But I'd really love to get to a state where I'm just in peace. Like my mind's just like calm kind of thing, which is a bit of a sad thing to say.
No, it's not. It's not at all. I'm exactly the same. It's just there's so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
That back hundreds of years ago, like, you know, you didn't have social media to have all these things. So then when you've done your job, you can be peaceful. You can do that. Whereas right now, to be able to be peaceful in this day in the world, you have to. It's just like, it's one of the best things, one of the underrated things you can be.
Yeah. So that would be my goal, is just get to a state where I'm just like at peace. Yeah. And I'm just, you know, the ocean's no longer rocky. It's just calm. Yeah. That's the goal. But yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining the podcast today.
Thank you so much.
I think we've had a lot of fun. I think a lot of people have learned a lot about you. And I feel like what's important about this podcast today is that they trust your product, because it's not just, you know, you didn't buy the cream from, you know, Coles thickened cream and just put it in a container. It's just, like there was a little bit of thought into it, you know, and there's a lot of effort, and you've tried to make a product before you made the business, you know what I mean? Yeah. And a lot of people do it the other way around.
No, that's good. I'm glad I could communicate that well, because that's something that sets Severan Skincare apart, and that's why Severan Skincare should be everyone's first thought for male skincare. That's for sure.
Just mention your social media, so then my three viewers can give you
a follow. So it's Severan Skincare, just on Instagram, Facebook, and then to get the product, severansskincare.com. We'll ship it straight to you guys, and happy days. Your skin will thank you, and you'll never look back.
Perfect.
Easy.
Thank you very much for watching on YouTube. Thank you very much for listening on Spotify. That's the first time I messed that up. Hold on, let me do it again.
Right.
Thank you very much for listening on Spotify. Thank you very much for watching on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and catch you all later. He was once